Around 2:30 a.m. on March 13th, Catherine Susan Kitty Genovese clocked out of her shift as normal and started to drive home. At some point during her drive, she caught the attention of 29-year-old Winston Mosley, who later admitted he'd been cruising around looking for a victim. When Genovese pulled into the parking lot of the Long Island Kew Gardens Railroad Station, about 100 feet from her front door on Austin Avenue, Mosley was right behind her. He followed her, gained on her, and stabbed her twice. He stabbed me, screamed Genovese into the night. Help me. Help me! Pneumonia at 21. The postman found her dead. Today, she's in the paper that would have once been in her bed. Tommy Smith reads the news. He shouts to tell his wife, "That girl who slept outside the block has sadly lost her life." In a study conducted by Healthline, researchers found that when he or she is alone and sees someone in need of help, 75% of people intervene. But when a group of 6 people are around the person in need, only 31% do something to help. This is the bystander effect, the tendency for people to be less likely to help someone in need when others are present. It could be someone's life or future on the line, and simply not assisting them could cost them one or both of those things. It's time to stop looking and start doing. So with the text from the Holocaust Encyclopedia and Children's Hope Alliance, stories including what happened to Kitty Genovese, who was murdered in 1964 by Kalina Fraga, and First-Person Shooter by Don Zalaitis, and poems titled The Bystander Effect by Amanda Lowry, and First They Came by Pastor Martin Niemöller. This is Just Yell Fire, a program, because we always assume someone else will put out the flame. The Holocaust was a series of events that happened over a long period of time. Jews were dehumanized, deprived of many legal rights, became the victims of both random and organized violence, and were socially, if not physically, isolated from the rest of the population. Many people became bystanders to this ever-radicalizing program long before the mass roundups and killings began. It's about 1st or 2nd grade when you figure out who the outcast is. And that's Charlie, of course. It started with kickball. Every day. Every day was target practice. Why did you go back out there? I mean, that's the question, right? Why didn't he fight back? Why not defend himself? I don't know why I went along with them. After a bit, I stopped going outside for recess. I just couldn't be that kid anymore. Charlie's mom practically adopted me. She was just so happy that he finally had a friend, I guess. First, they came with communists. Then I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. How terrible, said Mrs. Smith while Tommy cooled his tea. He mentioned it later that day to Joyce in 53. Joyce had said, "It's such a shame, a sign of this sad world," that it was only last weekend she'd stepped over the girl. One of Genovese's neighbors, Robert Moser, heard the commotion. He went to his window and saw a girl kneeling on the street and a man looming over her. Mosley fled, but waited. He returned to the scene of the crime 10 minutes later. By then, Genovese had managed to make it to the rear vestibule of her neighbor's apartment building, but she couldn't get past the second locked door. As Genovese cried for help, Mosley stabbed, raped, and robbed her. Then he left her for dead. Then they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I was not a socialist. Bystanders, as used to refer to German and European populations close to the actual event, are often defined by what they were not. They were not the perpetrators or the victims. Bystanders as a group have often been characterized as passive or indifferent. They included those, for example, who did not speak out when they witnessed the persecution of individuals targeted simply because they were Jewish, or during the face of mass murder, did not offer shelter to Jews seeking hiding places. What is that? Why are you showing this to me? Charlie, why are you showing this to me? Get back at who? Nah, man, this is sick. I mean, this is sick. I'm not even talking about this, Charlie. You need to get help. This is messed up, man. This is your whole life you're talking about. You're gonna go crazy and... No, I'm not doing it. I gotta go, Charlie. No, I'm not. And you need to get help. I gotta go. Then they came for the trade unionists. And I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Shh. Just yell fire! What does just yell fire? If you are ever in a situation that you need help, sometimes screaming no, stop it, help, are not the words people will always listen and react to. They may think you're having a fight with a parent, boyfriend, friend, and may not want to get involved. Some neighbors, roused by the commotion, called the police, but Kitty Genovese died en route to the hospital. Mosley was arrested just 5 days later and readily admitted to what he had done. For more than half an hour, 38 respectable, law-abiding citizens in Queens watched the killer stalk and stab a woman in 3 separate attacks in Kew Gardens. Not one person telephoned the police during the assault. One witness called after the woman was dead. Then they came for the Jews. And I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Charlie didn't come to school the next day. Or the next. He wasn't on his computer. He didn't answer when I called him. I didn't tell his mom. I didn't tell anybody. I figured he was just talking big and he would calm himself down. But in the back of my mind, but when you yell fire, 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 at the top of your lungs as loud as you can yell, people will stop and pay attention because it has a connection to their safety and they will run to see what is happening. Unlike present-day crime scenes, accidents, and emergency situations witnessed by bystanders, much was different about the Holocaust. Civil servants, police, military forces, and their collaborators in other countries implemented the escalating racial measures, including anti-Jewish measures, which culminated in mass murder and genocide. Thursday, 9:07 a.m. I'm in class. The teacher is speaking. I hear footsteps outside. My face buzzes. This is the point where the world breaks open. Two people are dead. Charlie is going to be in prison for the rest of his life. There were 3 days in between that conversation we had and when he came to school wearing a mask. 3 days I could have told someone. 3 days I could have stopped him. 3 days! And I I did nothing. Then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak out for me.